There was a moment in Manila when a billionaire laughed so loud that an entire small restaurant went silent. He looked at the plate in front of him and said, "People actually eat this?" That one laugh would change his life forever. This is the story of an American billionaire who mocked Filipino adobo, and what happened next shocked everyone. Welcome to Global Prime Stories. His name was Daniel Whitmore. Daniel had everything. Private jets, luxury cars, glass houses in 3 different countries. He had eaten in 5-star restaurants in Paris, New York, and Dubai. He believed money gave him superior taste. He believed expensive meant better, and he believed he understood the world, until he landed in the Philippines. Daniel came to Manila for one reason: business. He planned to build a luxury hotel worth $50 million. The location? A crowded local district filled with small markets and family-owned eateries. To Daniel, it was just cheap land. To the locals, it was home. The sun was hot that afternoon. Traffic barely moved. Motorcycles passed between cars. Street vendors walked by selling snacks. Daniel sat in the back of his black SUV, irritated. His driver, a calm middle-aged man named Mang Roberto, smiled gently. "Welcome to the Philippines, sir." Daniel didn't smile back. "Just get me somewhere with real food," he said. "I'm starving." After an hour stuck in traffic, Daniel grew impatient. "I can't wait anymore." Mang Roberto hesitated. "Sir, my sister owns a small eatery just around the corner. It's simple, but she cooks the best chicken adobo in this city." Daniel looked out the window. He saw plastic chairs, wooden tables, a small signboard. He laughed, out loud. "You want me to eat there?" He shook his head. "That brown meat in dark sauce? That looks like dog food." The words were loud. Some pedestrians heard him. Mang Roberto went quiet, but he still parked the car. "Sir," he said gently, "just try one bite." Daniel stepped inside. The small restaurant became silent. An elderly woman stood behind the counter. Her name was Aling Mercy. She had been cooking adobo for 40 years. Daniel looked around. No air conditioning, no designer plates, no gold cutlery. He smirked. "Give me your famous adobo," he said. "I want to see why people make such a big deal about this." There was sarcasm in his voice. Aling Mercy said nothing. She placed rice on a plate. She poured chicken adobo over it. The smell of garlic and vinegar filled the air. Daniel took a small bite. His face stayed hard. The room waited. Then something changed. He blinked. He took another bite, then a bigger one. The saltiness, the sour vinegar, the garlic, the soy sauce, the tenderness of the chicken. It wasn't fancy, but it was powerful. Daniel kept eating, faster. He forgot to speak. He forgot to judge. He just ate. He finally looked up. "What is in this?" Aling Mercy smiled. "Patience," she said. She explained something Daniel had never learned. Long before refrigerators, Filipinos used vinegar and salt to preserve meat in the tropical heat. Adobo was not created in luxury kitchens. It was created for survival. It was wisdom passed through generations. Every island had its own version. Every family had its own recipe. It wasn't just food, it was identity. Daniel sat back quietly. For the first time that day, he felt small. But the story doesn't end there. The next morning, Daniel had a meeting with investors. They were ready to sign the final papers. The hotel project would begin immediately. Dozens of small shops would be removed. Families would relocate. Contracts were prepared. Investors were confident. Daniel walked into the boardroom, but something was different. He wasn't wearing his usual expensive suit. He wore a simple barong Tagalog. In his hands, a stainless steel pot. The room looked confused. "Gentlemen," Daniel began, "I will not be building this hotel." The room exploded with questions. "What do you mean? The land is secured. The permits are ready." Daniel placed the pot on the table. He opened it. The smell of adobo filled the corporate boardroom. "This," he said, "is why." The investors stared at him. Daniel continued, "I came here thinking money makes things valuable.
I thought luxury meant progress, but yesterday I learned something. This market we plan to destroy, it holds culture, it holds families, it holds history, and that is more valuable than any hotel. The room went silent. Daniel took a deep breath. I am canceling the hotel project. Instead, he announced something shocking. He would invest the $50 million differently. He would support local farmers, fund culinary schools to preserve Filipino traditional cooking, upgrade the market facilities instead of destroying them, and he appointed Aling Mercy as head advisor for the Culinary Foundation. Investors were stunned. Some were angry, but Daniel did not change his mind. Over the next year, Daniel traveled across the Philippines. He visited small provinces. He learned about sinigang, kare-kare, pancit. He listened instead of talked. He asked questions instead of giving orders. He realized wealth is not just numbers in a bank account. True wealth is culture. True wealth is resilience. True wealth is identity. The same dish he once mocked became his daily meal. 1 year later, Daniel returned to that same small eatery, but now it was renovated, still simple, still humble, but stronger. He sat at the same table. This time, when tourists passed by and laughed at the dark sauce, Daniel stood up. He said calmly, "Don't judge it, just try one bite." So what did we learn? Never judge a culture by its simplicity, never mistake humility for weakness, and never assume expensive means better. Adobo is brown. It is simple, but it carries centuries of wisdom. It survived heat, it survived colonization, it survived hardship, and it taught a billionaire the greatest lesson of his life. Humility is more powerful than money. Daniel Whitmore is still rich, but today, if you ask him what his most valuable possession is, he will not show you his jet. He will not show you his mansion. He will show you a small, stained recipe notebook given to him by Aling Mercy. Because sometimes, one plate of food can change a heart, and one moment of humility can change a future. If this story inspired you, type PH in the comments. Have you ever tried Filipino adobo? Tell us where you're watching from. This is Global Prime Stories, and we'll see you in the next one.